Stop fooling yourself right now. If love were enough, divorce courts wouldn't be packed with people who once swore to be together forever. The naked truth is that the way you try to resolve things today, insisting, demanding, and defending yourself, is killing your emotional connection one day at a time. You are acting like a prosecutor against the person you are supposed to love, turning conflict resolution into a war of egos, where, in the end, both walk away defeated. I'm going to be blunt. You probably don't know how to fight. Most couples fail miserably because they insist on the childish error of wanting to be right instead of wanting peace. What you are doing isn't working, and if you keep this up, the end is just a matter of time. But there is a secret weapon of just 5 minutes that flips this game instantly. It's not fluffy magazine advice. It's a strategy of conjugal wisdom that requires courage to silence your pride and save the partnership. This technique separates those who build a legacy of harmony from those who live bitter or alone. It is a counterintuitive attitude, fast and extremely effective, but one that most ignore out of pure stubbornness. If you want to stop playing house and truly bulletproof your relationship, pay close attention. Either you apply this alignment now, or you accept that your marriage has an expiration date. Look, let's be frank. In decades of following love stories, I have never found a pair that lived in an eternal bed of roses. True conflict resolution isn't about avoiding disagreement at all costs, but rather about how to navigate the storm when it inevitably arrives. It's that old illusion of thinking the neighbor's grass is always greener, but the naked truth is that everyone faces their moments of tension. The big difference lies in who decides to water the garden and who lets the weeds take over everything. What separates success from failure in this journey of two isn't the absence of problems, but the conjugal wisdom applied to deal with them. I've seen couples turn a glass of water into a devastating storm, and others who, with skill and patience, disarm emotional bombs. It is crucial to understand that conflict has two edges. It can be the mason who builds an impenetrable wall between you, or the engineer who constructs the bridge to restore emotional connection. The choice of the tool is, day after day, in your hands. Imagine, for example, a couple disagreeing on where to spend Christmas. If there is no real sense of partnership when sitting down to talk, the subject becomes a war of egos where no one wins. Now, if you look at this as a puzzle you need to solve together, the dynamic changes completely. It's like learning to dance to a new rhythm. At first, one will step on the other's toes. It's normal, but with practice and a search for harmony, what was a stumble becomes a rehearsed step that strengthens the union. The real danger lies in letting pride steer the relationship's boat. When we allow conflict to dictate the rules without our conscious intervention, the marriage enters a dangerously collision course. Without clear alignment, those silly Tuesday squabbles accumulate and turn into the deafening silence of Sunday night. You need to act as guardians of each other's hearts and not as opponents in a boxing ring waiting for the next round. And this is exactly where the switch needs to flip. It's no use just having goodwill and love in your chest. You need method, strategy, and intentionality. Just as you schedule an important work meeting or a doctor's appointment, the relationship demands an agenda and exclusive dedication. If we don't stop to organize the mess organizes us, and usually in the wrong way. But there is a specific technique, a practical ritual that changes this game. To turn this game around, the golden strategy is what I call the conflict resolution session. Think of this as a sacred ritual and unpostponable appointment in the weekly agenda, where the total focus is the alignment of you two. It's not the time to air dirty laundry carelessly in the middle of the living room while the TV is on. It's sitting face to face, eye to eye, creating a safe environment. It's taking that chaotic energy of daily life and channeling it into a moment of construction, not destruction. The rule here is clear and must be followed to the letter. Alternate speaking turns, giving exactly 5 minutes for each to express what they feel. In this time, the listener needs to exercise radical active listening, biting their tongue if necessary, not to interrupt. You know that crazy urge to retort, to say, "It wasn't quite like that," right in the first sentence? Well, swallow it dry. Let the other speak until the end, because interrupting is cutting the flow of your partner's truth. This discipline of silence is a trial by fire for conjugal wisdom. Staying silent while the other says things that might bother us requires giant maturity, but it is the only way to lower guards. Imagine you are in a court, but there are no defense or prosecution lawyers, just two people seeking the truth of the other's heart. If one interrupts, validation breaks, and we go back to square one of defensiveness and attack. Let's go to a practical example. Think of those classic fights about finances or household chore division. If she has 5 minutes to explain how she feels overwhelmed, and he just listens without rolling his eyes or huffing, something magical happens. The partnership strengthens because the focus shifts from who is right to how you feel. It's giving space for the other's pain to breathe without being suffocated by immediate justifications or counterattacks. When you manage to go through these turns without running over each other, the atmosphere changes from water to wine. Tension lowers and a clearing opens for real understanding, preparing the ground for something even deeper. Because it's not enough to just stay silent waiting for your turn to speak. There's an ancient secret, which even kings used, about how to transform what we hear, even the harshest criticisms, into pure gold for the harmony of the couple. Remember King Solomon? The guy was known for intelligence off the charts, and he said that listening to others makes us wise. In marriage, this is pure truth. Accepting criticism is not a sign of weakness, but a huge act of courage and conjugal wisdom. When a partner points out a flaw, the animal instinct is to raise a shield, but the magic happens when we lower our guard and allow that hard word to transform us for the better. Truly listening, especially in the heat of the moment, is what separates boys from men and girls from women. This active listening works like a mirror. Sometimes the reflected image isn't pretty, but it is real and necessary. Instead of facing criticism as a personal attack, try seeing it as free consulting for the improvement of your team. It's painful at first, yes, but it is the only safe path to dissolve the inflated ego that prevents the harmony of the home. Think of a common scenario. One complains that the other is disorganized with towels. If the listener decides to absorb this without taking it personally, they discover a chance to evolve and please. It's not about who commands or who obeys, but a genuine partnership for the common good. If you can filter the emotion and keep the useful information, the conflict stops being a bloody battle and becomes a lesson. You start to understand not only the other, but yourselves. This exercise of humility generates a powerful alignment between the expectations of one and the reality of the other. When we shut our mouths and open our hearts to hear, we discover that often the nag in the relationship is just asking for help or a little attention. Mutual understanding is born from this fertile soil where criticism is seen as fertilizer, not poison. It's leaving the shallow surface of fights and diving into what really matters for the long-term health of the relationship. But attention, just listening and nodding your head in agreement doesn't solve everything. You need to ensure you understood the message correctly before any reaction. Often what one speaks is not exactly what the other hears, and this translation failure can generate a disaster in emotional connection. To prevent this game of telephone from ruining everything, there is a simple yet extremely effective technique to validate what was said before any reaction.
It is time to play the detective of the heart. It's not enough to just capture sound waves. You need to decipher the feeling behind them to ensure real emotional connection. You need to ask checking questions, as if you were calibrating a precision instrument before using it. Instead of assuming you already understood everything and preparing the answer on the tip of your tongue, return the ball with a sincere question. This shows, without a shadow of a doubt, that you care much more about understanding the loved one than winning an empty debate. Let's bring this down to reality. Say she complains that you disappear every Saturday to play ball or pursue that hobby. Instead of retorting by shouting, "I deserve a rest," use conjugal wisdom and ask, "Are you saying you feel lonely when I go out? Or is the issue that you think I don't like staying with the children?" This validates her pain and instantly disarms the bomb. You leave the battlefield and enter the field of empathy, where the game is won together. This type of question acts as a powerful balm for conflict resolution. By questioning to confirm understanding, you kill the monster of wrong interpretation while it's still in the nest, before it grows. Many Homeric fights are born not from what was said, but what was imagined by our hot heads. When you say, "Did I understand right what you meant?" you are building a solid partnership based on facts and real feelings, and not on hallucinations of a wounded ego. Hold back the anxiety to justify yourself immediately, however hard it may be. The goal now is to map the other's terrain, not defend your territory at all costs. If you skip this crucial checking step, alignment is totally lost and the conversation becomes two monologues of the deaf. Asking, "Is that it?" is an act of humility that generates immediate harmony, as the other feels, perhaps for the first time in a long while, truly heard and validated in their complaint. Only after being absolutely sure that you understood the pain and the point of view of the other does the green light turn on for you. Now that the terrain is clean and the minds have been disarmed by active listening, the game turns in your favor. You have earned the right to speak and be heard with the same courtesy and attention. But speak what? How to present your side without reigniting the flame of discord and finally reach an agreement that actually works for both. The moment of your turning point in the dialogue has arrived, the sacred hour to put your truth on the table. After listening and validating with the patience of a monk, you gain the floor to expose your needs without looking like an attack. It is here that you explain, calmly, that football game or reading on Saturday is not an escape from the family, but a vital escape valve for your mental health. When you communicate this transparently, emotional connection is reestablished because the other understands that your action is not against them, but in favor of your personal balance. The great goal here is not to win the debate, but to stitch together a viable solution that contemplates the pains and desires of both. You need to act like architects, drawing a blueprint where both fit comfortably, without unnecessary squeezing. Perhaps the agreement is to reduce the hobby time or change the schedule to ensure harmony on the weekend with the children. This honest negotiation is the beating heart of conflict resolution, transforming my way and your way into our way of functioning better. Think practically. If sports on Saturday morning messes up the house logistics, how about negotiating for a Tuesday night or doing a bi-weekly rotation? This demonstrates real and mature partnership, where no one needs to annul themselves or lose their identity to fit into the relationship. Small adjustments in the route avoid great shipwrecks down the line. It is giving up a slice of your immediate individual comfort to gain a much larger banquet, which is peace and lasting alignment within the home. When both sides of the coin are exposed and respected, the problem loses its destructive force and becomes just another logistical item to be managed. Conjugal wisdom shines precisely in this ability to yield without breaking, to welcome the other's demand without resentment. You will notice that by practicing this active listening followed by a fair proposal, tension evaporates almost magically. What was once a reason for Cold War and sour faces becomes a solid pact of mutual cooperation. Always remember, understanding the other is the mortar that holds the bricks of marriage standing during the inevitable earthquakes of life. There is no magic pill, there is continuous effort and genuine will to make it work through open dialogue. By mastering this art of listening, asking, and proposing solutions, you bulletproof the relationship against almost any external threat. And now that you have the treasure map in your hands, it remains to be known how to transform all this theory into unshakable practice. It's no use watching this far, nodding your head, and doing absolutely nothing. Knowledge without practice is just dead weight on your conscience. I am not here to entertain you, I am here to change your life. But that only happens if you stop being a coward and face the problem head-on. Do you have the courage to be the adult in the relationship and propose the 5-minute dynamic today, or will you keep complaining in the corners? I want to know who here is a tourist and who is truly committed. If you are on the team that makes it happen, right now in the comments, I will listen first. This is not a comment, it is a public commitment. Take responsibility. But be careful, what I taught you today only stops the bleeding. It's no use resolving the conflict now if the structure of your marriage remains rotten and empty. You staunched the blood, but you need to bulletproof the relationship so it doesn't break in the next crisis. There is a video appearing on your screen now that is the exact step to get out of this chaos and create unshakable security, filling the emotional tank before it dries up. Click there now because without that, this technique here is just a temporary bandage. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stop playing with your future. I'll see you there.